Michelle here with the Twisted Paintbrush. If you guys purchased one of the Boho Bunny kits from me, then today we are going to do a step-by-step together painting tutorial on that. I kind of started just a little bit. So you should have your canvas and your bunny rabbit on it, and then all your paint colors. I'm going to be using a little bit different colors today. I'm actually going to paint my background turquoise and my bunny white, and then do the different colors on the flowers. So I'm going to be using white, turquoise, black, magenta, purple, yellow, and green. And we're going to get started, and I'm going to try to move pretty fast to get this done. You guys feel free to paint along with me, or if you need to pause it and go back over, or if you just want to watch it first and then have at it on your own. I'm starting out with a flat brush, and I'm just dipping it in my turquoise and going along the lines of the bunny. Now it's okay if you get some paint on your picture, because we're going to paint over that. And this acrylic paint, it does that really, really easy. So we're just going to go along. I'm pretty messy because I'm not very patient. I'm just going to go along and kind of fill in all those spaces. Now you should have, if you bought the kit, you should have, may not be a large flat brush, it may be a large round brush. That one will work too. This is just the one that I have right now. So, if we can get the background done for that. Now if you're painting on canvas, make sure that you also paint the top and bottom of your canvas and both the sides. Sometimes we forget to do that, but that's important too. Luckily, since I'm painting on a mixed media pad, I don't have to do that. I just have to do the picture itself. Okay, so we're going to go along. I love these mixed media pads. If you guys don't have one, and you like to paint, you definitely need to get you one, because they're great for just sketching stuff out, playing around, practicing on something. If you don't want to take a chance on wasting a canvas, then you can do it on here first, and then see if you like the way it turns out before you put it on a canvas. So they're really cool, and I think they usually run 15 to 20 bucks. But there's a lot of pages in them, and the paper's really, really thick, so you don't have to worry about the paint bleeding through. I bought mine, and I believe I bought mine at Hobby Lobby. So, okay, there's that. I'm a little bit messy there, but I'm going to let that background dry. If you guys want to go ahead and finish painting your background, then we'll get started on the bunny next. So for the bunny, I'm going to use my large round brush, and I'm going to paint him white, but I'm not just going to use straight white paint. What I'm going to do is take some white, and I'm going to mix just a dot of black with it to make a gray on him, so that it's kind of like an off-white instead of a woo. That is not how it was supposed to turn out. My paint was way too watery. Alright, a little bit of gray, make an off-white color, kind of like this, but I'm going to mix it in really, really good. Okay, and I'm just going to go over the body of the bunny. Well, I lied. It's going to be more of a gray than a white. The whitish gray. So I'm just going to paint over and fill him in. Now with your canvas, you're going to want to make sure that your background is dry before you get started. Otherwise, you're going to have paint all over you. And your colors are probably going to run together, and you'll have a color that you don't really want. Now I'm kind of going outside of the lines here because I have a plan. I wanted a little bit of fur left on the edge of my rabbit's ears there. So, and then we're just going to do the face. Gray bunnies are okay too. Not what I planned, but that will work out fine. So I'm just going to go around and fill in the body of the bunny after I get my background done. And it's okay if it's not perfect because we're going to go back over it and we can fix all of our oopsies. So don't worry if you have a few little oopsies on yours. And after it dries, you should still be able, depending on your color, you should be able to still see the lines on your bunny's face. So you shouldn't have to worry about that. Now, if you're using a black, then you won't be able to see them anymore. So you'll just have to free draw a face back on your bunny. Kind of looks funny now. My bunny has no face. Okay, after I let that dry completely before I do anything else to the bunny, on here. Alright, so I'm gonna cheat and I'm gonna use my dryer and I'm gonna dry this real quick and pause the video and catch back up with you guys in just a second. Okay, now my bunny's mostly dry. Now I'm just going to take my flat brush and I'm going to create some fur effects coming off of him. So I'm just going to go along the edge of the face here and just kind of do some little fuzzies sticking off of him a little bit. You don't have to do that if you want your bunny all nice and smooth. And you can leave them just like that. But if you want to, just take your flat brush, like I said, and you're just going to barely come off of him with just a little bit. Just dip it in the same color paint you're using and just barely come off a little bit. Give him some little hair sticking off his face and body. And I'm just going to kind of go down his face and his body. Leave a little bit of hairs. Okay. Alright. And I may or may not go back and do that with the ears later. But for now, that's all I'm going to do there. Now I'm going to get my round brush. And I'm going to get my small round brush. And I'm going to do the eyes. Real quick, I'm going to fill in the eyes. I'm actually going to use my, real small round brush. And I'm just going to go back around with little circles for the eyes. I'm going to fill the whole circle in black on this. All the way around. And even the little dot spot, I'm going to paint it black. And then let it dry. And then we'll go back and do the white in it afterwards. all the way around. And do the other one. We're going to fill them in. Now this is one of the thin brushes that came in your, it should have come with your paint brushes. And so I'm going to also use it as a liner. So I'm going to come back here and I'm going to redo in black. I'm going to do my nose in black. And my mouth with the same brush. There. And then I'm also going to do, I forgot to do my little eyelashes over here. It's kind of wet. Do my little eyelashes on my bunny. And then I'm going to do the whiskers. Now remember, with these thin brushes, if you want thin lines, the more pressure you put on it, the thicker your line's going to be. So you want to just do thicker pressure towards the middle, and then lighter pressure as you're getting out, because they're getting thinner. Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to let that dry before I do anything else on it. I forgot my little bunny's chin down here. I have her little chinny chin. Okay. I'm going to put this brush down, and I'm going to take my pink, and I'm going to make a light pink. I'm going to take just a tiny bit of pink and add white to it and make a really light pink for the ears. And I'm going to use my small round brush again. Just mix those. Just a nice light pink. So you only are actually going to need just a little bit of pink to add to your white, depending on how dark you want your pink. Then we're going to paint in our centers of our ears. On here. Just fill those in on that. Just go around. Now it's okay if you get paint over an area that you hadn't planned on it, just let it dry and you can go back over it after it dries. So we're just filling in here. Okay. inside of the ears done. And now I'm going to come back here and do the nose as well. I'm going to put some pink in there on the nose. Just do a little bunny nose like that. Okay. Now, while all of that's drying, I am going to start on my flowers. And I've decided I'm going to use yellow, just a basic yellow. If I can get it to come out. So I'm going to use the same brush I've been using and come up here and paint in. I'm going to do yellow on my center flower. Now it may take, with yellow, it being a light color, you may have to do a couple coats to get it as thick as you want it. Your flower as dark as you want it. I'm just going to be messy and fill in the whole thing because I'm going to go back and do the details after it dries. And then for my first flower, that one I believe is supposed to be a rose. So I am going to do it a really light purple. So I'm going to rinse my brush and dry it off. And then come back with the purple. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to cover the whole flower with my purple. This is a lighter purple. It's kind of it's a little bit darker than lilac. I think it's called petunia purple. It's a nice springy color. And since Easter bunnies are spring, it will go just fine. And I'm just going to fill that in real good. Of course, you can pick and choose whatever colors you want to do your flowers. It's completely up to you. There are so many pretty colors that you can do for flowers. Okay, and then my last one I'm going to do is going to be I think I'm going to do my last one orange. So I'm going to rinse my brush, dry it off, dip it in the paint, and I'm just going to fill this one in as well. With the orange. Okay. Now my others have dried, so I'm going to hit the yellow one again with the second coat. And then I'll hit the purple one again, and then I'll come back and hit the orange again and do a second coat on that. So I'm going to pause the video while I do that. Alright, now that those have their second coat, I'm going to take my green and hit my greenery up really quick. And it usually takes 2 coats on the greenery to get it as dark as you want it. So I'm just going to start over here and just going to fill in my leaves. Usually by the time you've gone all the way around with the first coat, then you can go ahead and start back with the second coat. So it doesn't take too long. I'm just going to fill those in. It's all starting to come together. Right now it looks kind of messy, but as soon as we get all this done, we're going to start with the details. And oh, what a difference the little details make such a big difference in your picture. So we're just finishing, filling it in, all the greenery. Okay, first coat's done. I'll look over here. My second coat looks like it's just about dry. So I'm going to go ahead and, my first coat's just about dry, so I'm going to go ahead and do my second coat. There, I got all tongue twisted on that. So we've got the leaves all the way around. The flowers are done. Now it's time to get down to business with the details. Okay, so I'm going to rinse my brush. And I am going to start back with my my thin brush, my little small round. And I am going to start lining. So it's up to you if you want to line. I like to line mine in black because I like that nice crisp look. And remember that the more pressure you put on it, the thicker your line's going to be. So if you want a nice thin line, don't put a lot of pressure. Just kind of let the brush float over what you're lining. You might like a thick line. That's up to you. So I'm just going to follow it along and line everything. Oopsie, something was still wet. I should have followed my advice and let it dry completely before I started doing anything else, but I didn't. So now I'm probably going to have another mess to clean up. Alright. We're just going to go along. Line wherever you want to line. Or don't line if you don't feel like it. If you mess up on your line and you think it's too thick, you don't like it, then just let it dry and then go back over it with white and then repaint so that your line is not as thick. Okay, there's my ears. Okay. Now I'm going to start lining my leaves. Same brush, same principle. I want my lines to be a little thinner, so very little pressure on the leaves. All the way around on the leaves. Okay. Alright, there's that side. And now this side. And there's all of our leaves. Alright, I'm continuing with the same brush. I'm going to line my flowers. I'm going to start over here with the rose and just go around the edge. Okay. Then you can go back and add your little detailed lines on that. Moving over to my yellow flower. Forgot to paint my center on that yet, but okay. And then my last flower. I'm going to go all the way around on it. And the center part here, I am just going to paint the whole center black. I'm also going to go around and just do some little lines around the edge of the petal. Just some wavy. So that it looks like the tips of the petal are black. They don't need to be all nice and straight. I'm just kind of wiggling my hand as I go over. Okay, there's that. Now I'm going to let that dry. And while that's drying, I got to come back here and fix my bunny's eye where I got yellow paint on it. And then I'm also going to reline this nose here and change it up. I'm going to add that to it. Okay. All else looks good there. So I'm going to rinse my brush, dry it. I'm going to dip it in white. Oh, not white, I have pink in it. And I'm going to do the little dots for the eyes in white. I'm going to come up here and do those right there. Okay, there's this white. Now while I'm waiting for everything to dry, I'm going to go back and just do some random little white lines on it in different places where I want to add white for highlights. I'm going to come over here and hit the ears. Do some white. Just some highlights. I'm going to do some white highlights on these flowers. I'm just taking my brush and doing some little random whimsicals on my flowers in different places. Okay. I'm going to redo my lines on my ears. They're too light. Okay, I think I'm going to do like a little highlight here on the nose. here on the eye. You don't have to do these. This is up to you. I just like to add different little details in different places. Alright, now I'm going to rinse my brush. Well, I'm not going to rinse my brush. I'm going to get my orange. I'm going to fill in the center of my yellow flower orange. And then I'm going to do some orange highlights on this one in different places. So, just some random orange lines. Okay. So I'm going to dry it off. And I'm going to hit the white again. I'm going to do some white lines on it too. So that ought to really bring it out. Remember, if you do something and you don't like it, let it dry and go back over it. You can always fix it. Okay. All right. I'm thinking my bunny is about done here. So, I'm just doing some dots in here on this black. And then I'm going to fill in these little round things. I think I'm going to do on purple for petunia. Okay, so my bunny's pretty much done, I think. I'm looking back at my other one to see. I think I'm going to add where his head and his neck separate. So I'm going to take a little bit of black and just kind of do the squigglies here. Separating his head and his neck. I think that's what I did on my other one, yeah. There we go. There's my Easter bunny on here. I hope you guys enjoyed painting along with me. And I would love to see how your bunnies turned out. So if you want to go to our page, The Twisted Paintbrush, and share a picture, then I will enter you in a drawing for a free paint kit. Be sure to check out our page because we have several different kits available, from animals to flowers and cactuses, just lots of different things. And let us know what you need. Thank you. See you soon.